couple of months ago, we were robbed, and it sucked because they took our camera, our lenses, microphones, SD cards, and half a terabyte of really important footage. And rather than just like rushing out and replacing it all, we stopped to ask ourselves the question we probably should have asked ourselves a long time ago. Is this gear actually helping us, or is it just getting in the way? And the answer was surprising and a little complicated.
So our rental car was broken into in a garage in downtown Amsterdam, and we made an entire video about that, and we learned so many interesting things. I suggest you go back and watch that if you want to hear the full story. Yes, it sucked that we lost our camera, but the biggest thing was we lost that footage. We had just come from the Met show where we interviewed all these like interesting people and saw these new products that we were really excited about sharing with you guys. And then of course, we also lost all of our footage from the Baja 1000, which was this huge race, this huge life experience that we absolutely wanted to share. And we ended up making a video, but not having our main camera and our main footage really changed the way that that video came together. So it's been a couple months now. I want to give you a very, very quick update. I was pretty skeptical about the police doing anything from the last video, and yeah, I was correct. They ended up dropping the case. I'm going to read you exactly what they said here. Unfortunately, the investigation was terminated early due to a lack of capacity and a low investigative indication. I don't know exactly what that means, but when you look at the review of that garage and you see that this is a repeat offense that happens over and over to people, and that night we weren't the only ones that got broken into, you would really think that someone would take initiative. Whether it was the garage or the police or the city or tourism board, I don't know. Somebody should make a plan to stop that crap, because it's happening in a very popular spot. Anyway, that's my rant on that. As far as the rental car company goes, they handled it in a way that I thought was interesting. They gave me the opportunity to work directly with a shop to get it replaced on my time while I had the car, and I decided against that because we didn't have time to do that. So we returned the car, they gave us a new one. They took my car to a shop, and then because it was out of commission for half of a day, they charged me 40 euros. And it's not a lot, but it's just kind of crazy because I was only paying 30 euros for the entire day for the car. So there's that little fee, and then they withheld 1,000 of my dollars, 1,000 euros, from my deposit, and they replaced the window. It cost about 500 euros. So now I am waiting on our credit card company, because we used our American Express to pay for all of this. They have like an insurance side of their company, so you get extra protections. So in theory, they should cover the cost of repairing the window and the car being out of service, and up to like $2,000 in personal items. Even though the camera, lens, and cards and all of that was worth 6 or 7 grand, we'll be lucky to get 2,000. I have a feeling we'll end up getting $1,000, and that sort of sparked the whole idea of what we're going to talk to you about in the rest of this video.
All right, before we go any further, we didn't fly here with just that one camera, nor is it the only one that we own. And the way that we film is sort of like an 80-20 split. So 80% of everything that you see and all the filming that we do happens on one main camera, which was that FX3. Then the other 20% is made up of various cameras, like the ones that I have here, the ones that we came here with. The action camera, great for all things action. Anything where we're gonna be around water, need something really rugged. It's super wide and super stable. Then we have our drone for all things aerial. And then we have our Osmo Pocket. This is a great little camera for when we wanted something light, kind of inconspicuous, great for running around a new little town or village. I struggle with the gimbal. I always have on any gimbal that I've ever tried, and that is because when you're on a moving vehicle or if you're making fast movements, it's just difficult to keep the gimbal where you want the gimbal to be. It can wander, especially when we're on a boat or in a car. So love-hate situation with this camera. Serves a purpose, not the one that I want to carry around everywhere. Really, neither is the action camera. So they're great for what they do. Is this what I want to film absolutely everything with? No. Now, back in the USA, in our van, we left our FX30, which is a cropped sensor, and we generally put a telephoto lens on that because we would use it for stuff that's really far away. Hey, whales, let's get that bird, dolphins, that kind of thing that are maybe at a bit of a distance. But we didn't bring it because, again, we were moving onto this boat. It's our first time, new owners, and we had a lot of stuff to bring, kind of had to make some decisions. Bringing that camera with all of those big lenses, we figured probably not going to need those right away. We're definitely gonna want them for our upcoming Antarctica trip. So we left those behind. We thought, we'll get those before we head to Antarctica. It'll make it on the next round. So had it been here, we probably would have defaulted to that camera and that would have become the new main camera. But it wasn't here, which left us having to sort something out.
So there we were in Amsterdam, needing to buy a camera quick. So I started making a list of the things that I knew I wanted and the things I didn't want in a new camera. And the first thing that hit me was, I don't want to go and drop another 7 grand on a camera when I'm in a rush. I also looked at our FX3. It is still one of the best cameras within that price range for shooting video. So that camera is over 5 years old. And buying something that old doesn't really seem like the smartest thing because I want something a little bit newer with newer technology. I mean, technology is changing so fast. And I want something a little bit smaller, less cumbersome. So we looked at point and shoots. But as far as all the point and shoots go, I thought, it really doesn't seem that much better than a phone. And that led us down this total different path than anything I ever expected.
Oh.
They suck you in with the cat. Coffee better be good.
Look at him kneading the blanket.
Get it, Daddy.
Whoa. Shove it in front of me like I'm the one that ordered that. I just got a coffee. Jason's like, oh no. It's very Dutch though. This is their,
Apple tart.
They call it apple tart. We would call that an apple pie, but it does taste different. And we'll see if this one is like I think it is. Hold on. This is Jason's though, just for the record.
Yeah, right.
Not there's anything wrong with it. With the
Slagroom.
slagroom. So I haven't confirmed the theory, but I think they use a mix of apples because it seems like some bites are more tart, some are more sweet, which is a really nice combination. It is really good. It's, I would say, better than your average apple pie. Don't know what their secret is. Guess I'm gonna have to stick around long enough to find out. But we're not here to talk about apple pie. We're here to talk about how we're changing things. I'm giving Jason a hard time about the apple tart, but he 100% earns it and is the better person, or at least the better morning routine person, because he gets up every single day without fail and does yoga and AG1, who's also the sponsor of today's video. All right, Jay, what's your secret? How do you do it?
I can say it's not easy up here in the north because it is cold, it is dark, there's no real incentive to get out of the bed. So I kind of use it like a Band-Aid situation. I just rip off those sheets, I jump out of bed and I go straight to the fridge and start the process. I sit down, I have my AG1. It's my all-in-one. It's a vitamin and minerals, prebiotics and probiotics. It's a green superfood and stress adaptogens. It's just a great jump start to my day. And once I've kind of begun with this, then I just go straight into an exercise because I'm already doing this. I might as well just keep going, right? Then I'll do a 20-30 minute workout, let all this AG1 settle in my gut, and then I dive in on the coffee. That's been my morning ritual for quite a while. So I think it's easier because I do it pretty much every day. And at the end of the day, I don't have to worry quite as much because I've done something for myself. I've drank something, I've done some exercise, and if I want to order that apple pie, then I can do it without worrying about it. Without judgment.
I am not a morning person, so it's hard for me to do the workout, but at least I have this part down and it is a good start. So if you want to boost your morning routine and give AG1 a try, just head over to drinkag1.com/gonewiththewinns and they will give you 3 free AG1 travel packs, 3 AGZ travel packs, a vitamin D3 plus K2, and a welcome kit with your first subscription. You can also scan the QR code on the screen and I will leave a link down in the description box below. When Jason said light, I feel like that really is the key component, is light, because you don't want it to just be light in weight, that yes, but also nimble, because I have to wait to drink this coffee. Because what happens is we head out for an adventure and Jason will say, okay, are we filming or are we not filming? Do I need to bring the camera or not bring the camera? And my reaction is always bring the camera every time, because you never know what you're gonna run across or what's gonna happen or what we're gonna see, and then you're gonna wish you had a camera on you. And then Jason's like, every time. And it's not because he's like, oh, I hate filming or anything. That's not it at all. It's this, now there's a barrier between him and the moment. And it's because now he's got this thing in his hand and it becomes like an extension of him, and he's gonna have to carry it around, and he's gonna feel like he's gotta capture stuff because now it's in his hand. And no matter what I try to say, you know, I'll say, I know it's heavy and it's a little bit of a chore, so I'll carry it. I'll carry the camera. Let me do it. You know, but he's not going to, because he knows that it's a barrier and he knows it gets heavy and that it can be a little bit annoying sometimes as much as it is enjoyable. So he's not going to give it up. He's going to say, nope, I've got the camera. Don't worry about it. Regardless of what I say, because that's just Jason. But I would like to lessen that barrier or take it away if at all possible. And so that was kind of the almost like driving factor for like, how do we pick a main camera? How do we just make that less?
I always had this imaginary dream camera in my head that was like based on the DJI Mavic 4, because when that camera came out, it was 3 lenses, a long, a wide, and a normal lens. It would be like super lightweight, and they would just put it on a stick, and then you could just walk around with that whole setup. Like, it's a Hasselblad lens in a very compact situation, lightweight. That seemed like it would be perfect. It just doesn't exist.
The thing is, it does kind of exist in a phone because it's got 3 lenses, it's got shockingly good quality, and it's in a form factor that is super duper small. Great stabilization. I mean, so many different things, right? But I think the biggest thing is the fact that it is in a phone. It's the thing that you already generally have on you anyway. And it's the thing that everybody else carries around and everybody else is filming with. So there goes one barrier, right? You don't stand out anymore. You're not looking any different than anybody else. But then the fact is it's like you don't have to make the decision of do we bring the camera or not bring the camera. It's already on you anyway. You are bringing it with you anyway. Another barrier gone. It's small, it's lightweight, it fits in there. And if you're not standing out, if you're not looking like it's something that's beyond everybody else, then it's less likely to also draw attention and like to get stolen, right? Or to be something that draws eyeballs onto you. And, you know, if we want to, it's like you can tuck it away in a bag. It's not something that's going to have to be this big decision-making process anymore. And that was a big, big, big barrier. Is it everything you wanted it to be?
So good. It's coming from a professional photography background, I just couldn't wrap my head around making a phone my main camera. It just, I don't know. It just didn't seem right. But the more videos Nikki showed me over and over about all these creators doing comparisons of the newest phone compared to X camera, I thought, wow, this could work. Yeah. And if nothing else, it will work right now. And it'll be a multi-purpose tool that we can use for more than just being a camera. And I'm not feeling pressured to buy something so expensive and so like one thing only. It's just, I kind of thought I can really get behind this.
Yeah, and it was sort of that, well, and now that we've used this for a couple of months and it's been working out so well that now it's that philosophical question of like, how many other things are we sort of closed off to just simply because this is what we've known, this is what we know, and
what else am I being a stubborn mule about?
Exactly.
I'm so much lighter, not having to carry that big backpack everywhere. It's
just the size, the form factor, we're lighter, we're more nimble, there's less barriers, it's always on you. Like, we've already had a couple instances that you'll see in upcoming videos where it's like, it was in the moment and something started happening and you're like, we need to film this, let's start a video right now. And we did, and it wasn't like, oh, let me go get the camera bag out, I gotta put the lens on, like none of that. So yeah, it was a real kind of like aha moment.
Before I dive into what we've got going on here, I just want to say this is not a pitch to buy a new phone, or I'm not trying to convince you not to buy a nice camera, because the nice camera definitely has its place. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But you know, this is a personal, unexpected journey that I've kind of gone on from, I guess, let's just say the new philosophy of don't be a stubborn mule. So that's why.
Be open-minded.
Yeah.
Open to tech.
That's why we are sharing this particular video. So this is what we ended up with. This is an iPhone 17 Pro. Nikki previously had the iPhone 14 Pro, so we knew she already liked the camera. She already liked, you know, everything about it. This is just an upgrade, so it wasn't like a barrier. It was time to upgrade anyway. It's like multi-function, so it didn't really cost us anything. There was no like real risk. So that's how we ended up with the iPhone 17 Pro. We are not using Apple ProRes. Those files are huge, ginormous. We accidentally used them in the beginning. Trust me. we do not need to shoot in that form. But we are using log, and that's the way we set up our big camera, the old Sony that was stolen, and our DJI cameras. We shoot everything in log because it gives us more latitude on the back end to color correct, and it's just an easier file to work with in all different types of situations.
I did have, well, still technically do have the iPhone 14 Pro. The thing is, we upgraded because the iPhone 14 Pro didn't shoot log. There was a big jump from the 14 to the 15th generation of phones. And then there's been another big jump just with this last iteration. So I had the old lightning cable. I couldn't use an external drive like this, but the biggest thing was filming in log. So all of those changes kind of started with the 15 and going further up, so you don't even have to necessarily get the newest version to get a better camera experience. That's really all I wanted to say.
So attached to the phone, we have this little hard drive. So it is a very fast, pluggable hard drive, and what I like about it is, yes, you can move files using AirDrop to your Mac. That's great, but when you're moving a lot of files and really big files, it's a lot faster to do it through a drive like this. And the beauty is, if we're in a situation where we're worried about maybe somebody stealing our phone, I can pop this hard drive off, put it in my pocket, and it's with me. It's totally separate, so I've got a backup copy of everything now in my pocket, separate from the phone. Here is something that Nikki found. I just thought, oh, let's go with the DJI microphones. Those are the ones that I know, those are the ones that I like. But she found these and they're like, I don't know, maybe 60% less expensive because you get 4 microphones. So now we can connect 4 microphones to this one camera if we're interviewing somebody. And then I can do everything else that I could do with my other. I haven't noticed any quality difference between this and my DJI mics. Maybe you've heard it, maybe not, hopefully not. And then going from there, we have this MagSafe tripod. It's got a little clicker on there. And I am gonna say that a lot of the stuff is stuff we could just get immediately here in the Netherlands. So not everything is exactly how we want it. We've actually ordered new things that are arriving in the US when we fly back to replace some of this stuff. So we will put out on the website exactly the items that we think are the best for this type of filming, because that leads me to this guy right here. This is a filter. It's an indie filter. It's adjustable from 1 to 5, and I'm not in love with it, but it's what we could get. And this basically, if we're moving a lot, you want to darken down the lens so you don't get weird juddery effect. So that's it. That's it. This is super lightweight. This is it. I mean, you pop it off, you put it in your pocket, and you're off. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. So the big camera still has its place. I mean, there's a reason those lenses are so big and the glass is so big and the cameras and lenses are so expensive. They are sharper, they get more detail and more clarity in the images. So I'm not gonna pretend like there's not a difference between this and one of those.
Exactly. And this whole thing started with a robbery, and it's not like I'm happy somebody stole our camera. I'm not. I'm still really bummed about that, and especially the footage. Yeah. Exactly. But it also forced us down a path that we would not have explored otherwise. And I'm really excited to kind of see where it continues to lead us in our filming style.
Because it's not something we share very often here, but the majority of our life is spent behind the camera or behind the computer. You know, right. More so than just the adventures. Yeah,
you see the finished product, but actually that is such a small piece of it, that it's all the stuff that leads up to that. And so I feel like we were a little bit behind on all of this. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts, because my assumption is that probably more of you are already used to using your phone as your main camera and video camera, and maybe we're a little late to the game, but I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah.
So
did you see a difference between the past couple videos versus the ones we shot 6 months ago? Did you hear a difference? Like, I'd love to hear what you think.
Yeah, and just your thoughts on the philosophy overall of, you know, it's so easy to overcomplicate things, maybe when we don't really have to, or we're doing it because we think we have to, and it's the only way to accomplish the end goal, but not always.
Stubborn Muellery. I'm going to start a new hashtag or something. I don't know. Hashtags even in anymore?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. With that,
yes,
we're going to leave you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
And we will see you in the next one.
Yes, definitely after we warm up. I'm kind of popsicle-y.
It looks so warm.
I know.
It's deceiving.
Oi.